let's keep going here. Two theorems today, and these are nothing new. You know this from algebra. Two non-vertical lines have the same slope, so same slope if they are parallel. And it works both ways. Parallel implies same slope implies parallel. And then we have to state all vertical lines, because vertical lines don't really have slopes. We just have to state it as off to the side. All vertical lines are parallel. And might as well say all horizontal lines are parallel. Alright, next, theorem 3.3. Two non-vertical lines are perpendicular with a right angle if and only if the product of their slopes is -1. You know this from algebra class as opposite reciprocals. So for example, if you've got a line with a slope of 3/2, the opposite reciprocal is -2/3. If I multiply these together, you get -1. Opposite reciprocal. You flip it, and if this one's positive, then this one's negative. Vertical lines and horizontal lines are perpendicular. We just have to state that. Alright, the rest is some examples. So let's continue forward here. Example 7, find the equation of the line that goes through the point and is perpendicular to this. Now here's the slope of this line right here. Do we have a graph? No. So that means I'm going to use point slope form. So I need a point, which they give us, and I need a slope, which they also kind of give us. They tell us they have to be perpendicular to this. So I need the opposite reciprocal of negative, so it's going to be positive, and 1/3, I'm looking for 3/1, which is just 3. So there we have it. I got a point and a slope, and now I have everything I need to make my equation. It's y minus your y value equals mx minus your x value. That's your point slope form of your equation. Go back on the first page if you need to reference point slope form. But there it is. Now we want to make it fancy. We can distribute the 3. And we can add the 5. And now it's in slope-intercept form. I turned point-slope form into slope-intercept form. They're both good. They both could be used as the answer to this question. Just depends on how you want to write it. Example 8. Determine whether these two lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So you can tell parallel if they're the same slope. You can tell perpendicular if they're opposite reciprocals. Eitherwise, it's neither. So we're just looking for two slopes. So for line AB, the slope is 5 minus 1. It's y minus y over -1 minus 1. That's y minus y over x. Why did I do 5 minus 1 and not 1 minus 5? I did 5 minus 1 so that way I keep things positive, even though the bottom is negative. -1 minus 1 is -2. Now let's look at the slope of line CD. Let's see. I'm going to do 2 minus 1 over 3 minus 6, which is 1 over -2. Look at that. They have the same slope. So therefore, these lines are parallel. Same slope. Number 9. It says write the equation of the line that is perpendicular to and goes through the midpoint of the following. Do we have a graph? No, we do not. But we are writing an equation of a line, so I'm going to need a point and a slope. What point? It says it has to go through the midpoint of these two. So first we have to figure out the midpoint of these two. So what's in the middle of -3 and 1? I can average them out. -3 plus 1 divided by 2. And what's in the middle of 3 and 7? This one's a little easier to wrap my mind around because there's no negatives. -3 plus 1 is -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the point I want my line to go through is -1, 5. And my slope says it has to be perpendicular to this. So I need to find the slope of AB, which is 7 minus 3 over 1 minus -3, which is 4 over 4, which is 1. So I have a slope of 1. So there we have it. Now I have everything I need, and I believe you have a homework question like this. You have a point and you have slope. Everything I need to plug in. So y minus my y value equals slope times x minus the x value. Let's make it pretty. You can distribute your x, that doesn't do anything. That's just x plus 1. And it's y equals x, add the 5, plus 6. There's the equation in slope-intercept form. Here's the equation in point-slope form, and here's the equation in slope-intercept form. Exercise 10. Write the equation for the line that goes through the origin, has to go through that point, and it has to be perpendicular to this line. Now this line, we can check the slope. Let's check the slope of this line. The slope is, looks like if I go from here to here, I got to go down 2 over 3. So if the slope is -2 over 3, the perpendicular slope is positive 3 over 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this point, and I'm going to go rise over run. I'm going to go up 3, and I'm going to go over 2, like that. And I can go the opposite. I can go down 3 and over 2 this way. And there is my line. Put a right angle right there because it is perpendicular. And that's what perpendicular means, that we have a right angle. Next, example 11. Write an equation. Do we have a graph? No. Write an equation. I'm going to need a point and a slope. Do we have a point? It says write an equation. It has to go through the point 4, 1. So we have a point. Do we have a slope? It says it has to be parallel to this. Now this is a weird looking line. This is not in point slope form. This is not in slope intercept form. This is actually called standard form when the x's are together. So we need to take this line that they gave us and find the slope. So to do that, I'm going to bring the 3x over to this side. I'm going to subtract the 3x over there. And then I'm going to divide by -2. So divide everything. This gets divided by -2. Everything gets divided by -2. So that's 3 over 2x. And this is 6 divided by -2, which is -3. So what this means is the slope is 3 over 2. And because it's parallel, I want it to have the same slope as 3 over 2. Why is it the slope? Because this is mx plus b now. This is our m. Alright, so now with this said, we can make our line. Y minus our y value equals m x minus our x value, like that. There's our line. We don't need to make it pretty. There it is. Last question. Graph this right here. Now, that's kind of hard to graph because it's not in. With graphs, we want mx plus b. That's the easiest probably way to graph. So we're going to take this and turn it in. We're going to turn that into mx plus b. Same idea here. We're going to start by taking our 2 and subtracting it over. Negative 2x minus 9. So I just took my 2x and moved it over to this side. Now we're going to take our 3 and we're going to divide it. So divide by negative 3. Negative 2 divided by negative 3. We're just going to call that 2 over 3. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is 3. So now let's graph our equation. We're going to start at that point right there, which is our y-intercept. And then we're going to go up 2 over 3. Rise over run. We're going to go rise over run. Rise over run. Go the opposite way. Rise over run. Rise over run. And there is our line. Now we're going to skip this. We're not going to learn that this year. Which means that we're done.